Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and we are going to spend some time talking right now about the Krishna Janmbhoomi case. And the reason we are talking about this case is because after Kashi Gyanvapi, the focus has been on the Krishna Janmbhoomi case. Before we debate it, I am of the view that we should entirely go by what the courts say in these matters. And without trying to give any advice to the court, most unsolicited, I would also like to say that the court should go by the historical facts, the archaeological evidence that come up. The court need not be guided by what any one side says. But the courts must also look at the historical evidence that is got on the basis of scientific reasoning, historical records, and not just presumptions of belief. Today, the High Court in Allahabad, in a very landmark judgment, has cleared the way for a Gyanvapi-like survey to take place at Mathura's Shahi Idagh. The High Court will decide the modalities of the case on the 18th of December. This means that the whole case begins to move. We expect the Muslim side very, very upset today to move the Supreme Court. But the question is this at the start of the debate: why should a scientific survey that digs out the historical archaeological truth about Krishna Janmbhoomi, the birthplace of Lord Krishna, be opposed? Why should it? Here's the developments and then our big debate.
Allahabad High Court has cleared the ASI survey at Mathura's Shahi Idagh Mosque.
माननीय उच्च न्यायालय ने जो फैसला दिया है, हमारे न्यायमूर्ति ने जो फैसला किया है, हिंदू समाज के लिए बड़ा गौरव विषय है। श्री कृष्ण जन्मभूमि के लिए बहुत अच्छा विषय है, हमारे श्री कृष्ण भक्तों के लिए बड़ा अच्छा विषय है। अब मुस्लिम पक्ष की ईदगाह वालों जो बिल्कुल ही सिरे से खारिज हो गया है कि 7/11 नहीं सुनी जाएगी।
The survey will be similar to the one conducted at Varanasi's Gyanvapi.
मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूं इलाहाबाद खंडपीठ का, जिनके नेतृत्व में एसआई सर्वे का अनुमति आ गई। होता क्या था कि विपक्षी मेरा भागता था, इसलिए वो डरता था सर्वे को लेकर इसलिए डरता था क्योंकि फैसला आने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी, कठिनाई नहीं होगा, दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो जाएगा।
The Hindu side had won the legal in the Gyanvapi case. Hindu bodies claimed that the mosque was built on Lord Krishna's birthplace.
सनातनियों की सबसे बड़ी जीत हुई है। मथुरा कृष्ण जन्मभूमि पर उच्च न्यायालय का फैसला आया है कि वहां पर एसआई सर्वेक्षण होगा, और जहां एसआई सर्वेक्षण होगा तो दूध का दूध पानी का पानी, सच्चाई सामने आ जाएगी और हमेशा के लिए विवाद मिट जाएगा।
This will be the second big legal win for the Hindu side. The High Court has also appointed a court-appointed and monitored advocate commissioner.
जिस प्रकार ज्ञानवापी का सर्वे हुआ, उसी प्रकार यह सर्वे का कार्य पूर्ण होगा। अखिल भारतीय संत समिति उत्तर प्रदेश हाई कोर्ट के इलाहाबाद बेंच के फैसले का हार्दिक स्वागत करती है, और हमारा यह मानना है कि भगवान श्री कृष्ण की जन्मभूमि की मुक्ति के संदर्भ में यह सही दिशा में बढ़ा हुआ एक कदम और है।
The win comes as ASI is preparing to submit a report on Gyanvapi.
Another victory after Gyanvapi for the Hindu side, as the Allahabad High Court today allowed the survey of the Shahi Idagh in Mathura. The court today allowed the appointment of a court commissioner to survey the Shahi Idagh, which is set to be built on the Krishna Janmbhoomi. Very importantly, the Gyanvapi survey report by the ASI is complete and is expected to be submitted sometime soon this month.
The court is expected to decide on the modalities on December 18th.
आज माननीय इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट ने हमारी एप्लीकेशन अलाउ कर दी है और ये कहा है कि वहाँ पे एडवोकेट कमीशन का सर्वे जारी किया जाए। एडवोकेट कमीशन के सर्वे में कौन कौन होगा, कितने मेंबर पैनल बने, कितने बजे से होगा, कौन कौन उसमें जाएगा, वो सारे मोडालिटीज कोर्ट 18 दिसंबर को तय करेगी।
The Muslim side is expected to challenge the High Court's order.
ये बीजेपी, आरएसएस और आपका विश्व हिंदू परिषद का एजेंडे में तकरीबन 3,500 ऐसे मस्जिदें हैं जिनके ऊपर इनका दावा हमारे मंदिर थे, तो वो एक एक करके एक एक का परिणाम लाएंगे।
Why should a survey that digs out the truth of Krishna Janmbhoomi be opposed? Let's debate.
Atikur Rahman and Zubair Memon Dushyant Sridharan, Sadhvi Jayabharti. Zubair Memon and Atikur Rahman, firstly, of course, the Muslim side will appeal this. But you must begin by saying that, like in the case of the Babri Masjid case, where the Honorable Supreme Court of India has decided that the Bhavya Ram Mandir will be constructed at the site where it belongs. Here also, you will abide by whatever the courts say, right? Instead of trying to make the wrong kinds of statements or politicize it. Let the historical evidence, like in Gyanvapi, Kashi, be found out. Gyanvapi, let it also be done in Mathura, let it be done everywhere. Wherever there is historical evidence and archaeological evidence. So I just want you to first begin by swearing that you will support whatever the court says.
So, Arnab, if there is a right to question the court as a citizen of India, then I would like to question the court that why is the sanctity of a parliamentary act not being upheld? The 1991 Places of Worship Act still exists, and why the courts are not telling the government to first repeal or amend it, because for my enumeration, the violation of a parliamentary act cannot be seen by the judiciary itself. And secondly, that for so many years, why the parties were in deep slumber, they did not club the other matters.
Whenever something is done in Parliament, you appeal in the courts. Whenever the courts decide, you say it should be decided in Parliament. You're never going to be happy, are you?
No, I will be questioning till the last breath of my life.
On that first point, let me get Sadhvi Jayabharti beaming in response. Sadhvi Jayabharti, to Atik's first point.
Arnab, Jai Shri Krishna to everyone. I've been listening to all the debates ever since this, court's order and direction for the survey has come out. And this one debate that everybody is coming up, one argument is the places of worship, that its sanctity has not been kept and everything. And, as if, and the arguments and the statements, as if, this direction has been given by the BJP or the RSS or Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Come on, the verdict is given by the High Court. They know and they read the laws better than us. And in this case, it has been very well stated by the court today that this particular case does not attract the Places of Worship Act. So please do not quote in this regard. It was clarified by whatever we are debating. Do we mean that, are we doubting the knowledge of the judges sitting in the High Court? And we are saying myself or Atikur Rahman interpret the law better than the court. Another thing, the Places of Worship Act only maintains the status of any Places of Worship Act. That if you're sitting in there's a masjid and I start going and place an idol, does that change the nature of that place of worship? It doesn't. Somebody comes in my temple and start paying a namaz tomorrow, will that change? That's where the law is attracted. If we are figuring out that whether the true nature of one building, one place of worship, whether it's a Hindu or sir, when you were speaking, I did not interrupt. At least have the civility of letting the other person speak. You can counter, you've been countering.
No, I need to counter this. I am just asking for countering your point.
Take your turn when you get it, sir. Take your turn when you're going to get it. So,
sure, you go ahead.
In religion, in the matter of faith and matter of religion, every time something happens, like in Gyanvapi, something happens in Ram Mandir, then something happens in Mathura. One thing that you bring up is Places of Worship Act. Is the entire country, every faith, every matter of religion is governed by one act, one law. The court doesn't look into anything else. Let's be very fair here. There's a survey that has been ordered by the court, not by any party, not by any group. It has been ordered by
counter.
Court you would do it, sir. Don't interrupt. Countering is different to interruption. I don't know where do you get this from. So, and one thing is that when we are talking about place. Every time you bring up this Places of Worship Act, and the court has categorically.
You are repeating yourself,
this particular case. So I will repeat once you will not let me complete.
You are repeating yourself, Sadhvi ji.
Yeah, you are speaking with.
You are repeating yourself.
I'll keep repeating until and.
Why are you wasting the time of the audience?
Sir, I don't know about audience, but you are really worked up. I know you're feeling defeated. I know you really have been, you just want to stand behind one act and
you are just repeating yourself. You don't have a new point.
No.
That's why I
civility, sir.
Confront.
This is no civility. This is no civility. When you were speaking, you were talking.
With all civility, I'm asking you that why are you repeating yourself? Don't take the audience for granted, Sadhvi ji.
This is not the. Sir, forget. Just because you have a loud voice, you can, outshout somebody. You can go on doing it, but this is no rationality.
I'm in a normal voice. Don't take the audience for granted.
No, 1 minute. Sadhvi.
I need to counter
Sadhvi,
this.
just let me intervene for a moment. Let me intervene for a moment. No, I don't take the audience for granted. I never do. I'm just making one point. See,
Sadhvi ji is taking.
I am a Hindu, but even if I was not a Hindu, I would say Dushyant Sridhar. I would say, even if I was not a Hindu, I would say that if a fanatic, evil Aurangzeb, in order to hurt the sentiments of the Hindu community, built a structure in 1670 over the birthplace of Lord, why should that matter not be opened up? Should we say that 300 years back, 350 years back, Aurangzeb did this? Let us forgive Aurangzeb. What happens to my sentiments? My association with the birthplace of Lord Krishna? You don't have to be a practicing Hindu reading the Bhagavad Gita every day to feel very affronted. My question is, why should the historical legacy of Aurangzeb be more important than the religious beliefs and historical legacies of the Hindus of this country? I want an explanation to that. That is where we need to, that is where this debate comes from. And Zubair, before you come in, I'd like you to hear the historical significance of this from Dushyant Sridhar.
Namaskaram Arnab, and namaskaram to all my fellow panelists, and namaskaram to my viewers. I've been listening to all of them patiently. One, at the outset, I would like to welcome the court's permission to do a survey. It is an academic archaeological survey. That's all. It is just determining the character of the monument, nothing more. No Muslim of today is going to be held responsible. We can't preempt court's decisions. One. Point number two, with respect to Krishna's worship, Arnab, to enlighten some of your viewers, we have one of the earliest, of course, besides the Bhagavata Purana, the Vishnu Purana, the Mahabharata, talking about Krishna's birthplace, which is being Mathura. We have a 5th century BCE grammarian, the famous Panini, in one of his sutras states, Vasudevarjunabhyam Vun. So he does talk about the worship of Vasudeva, Vasudevasya Puman Vasudevaha, the son of Vasudeva being Krishna. We have Mathura being mentioned as Mehatora in Megasthenes' works. We have the pillar that talks about Krishna being the god of gods. Now coming to the desecration of the temple, Arnab, it has happened over 7 times as per all the historical accounts, and it started with Muhammad Ghaznavi, then it happened during the times of Qutbuddin Aibak, and every time it got rebuilt. And something very shocking, Arnab, a person called Abdullah during the times of Jahangir states that the temple was destroyed and the idols were used by the butchers to measure the meat. it was used as measuring blocks. And later in 1670, 27th of January, we have the mention that Aurangzeb ordered for the destruction of the temple, and he also said that the idols need to be placed beneath the steps of a certain mosque so that the devout Muslims can trample upon the idols of the infidels. I'm just quoting the statement. So very well it has been established through history time and again through various accounts both by Indians and by foreigners that there was a temple and it was destroyed time and again. So let me not get into what the courts will do after the survey has come, but the survey is the right archaeological and academic way of determining the character of the monument. There's nothing more that we can preempt about what can come from the survey and what the courts can decide. Determining the character of the monument. There's nothing more that we can preempt what can come from the survey and what the court can do.
Precisely. And you know, as you very well know, I'm sure you know this, Zubair, that the Krishna Janmbhoomi is built around the prison cell where Lord Krishna took birth. I cannot explain to you how significant this is for the Hindus of this country. There are historical records. The original temple was constructed by Krishna's great-grandson in the 6th century BC. Over the years, there have been many renovations. And I think if historically it is proven that this was the birthplace of Lord Krishna, then I think it is very unfair what Aurangzeb did. And I don't think you need to be a supporter of Aurangzeb all the time, Zubair. Because I'm sure you are not a fanatic like Aurangzeb. I'm sure you are not intolerant like Aurangzeb. I'm sure you are not anti-Hindu like Aurangzeb. Anybody who's not a Muslim should have to pay a tax. I'm sure you don't have those views. So whether it is Babur or Aurangzeb, you must understand that what they have done, right, is try and undermine the historical and cultural legacy and heritage of our country. But this is a history which cannot be closed. It is reopening. There's a lot of revival. There is Hindu revivalism, which is very good. Right, Zubair? So there is no point in trying to say we will not follow the law, we will agitate, etc. I think you must follow the law, and you must also on record appreciate the fact that the Hindus are very peacefully and legally demanding what is their right.
I have been listening all of you with very patience, and as a Hindu, Mr. Arnab, you put out some concerns, and as an Indian Muslim, I only want to put out 3 concerns on this issue, on the Mathura issue. I will not give any mythological stories or any rhetorics. My simple 3 concerns will be limited in 60 seconds. Please give me uninterrupted 60 seconds. Point number 1, concern number 1, Mathura dispute, the issue which we are debating right now, was settled on 12th of October 1968 by the Masjid Committee and the Temple Trust itself. A new group has been raising all these Gyanvapi or Mathura issues. Point number 2, my concern number 2, places of worship act is still in.
You are settled during Aurangzeb's time. 1 minute, getting counted. Dushyant is counting. Settled during Aurangzeb's time, settled by Aurangzeb, and we have to agree. We need to follow Aurangzeb today. You're actually saying that. You are saying that I as an Indian have to follow today what Aurangzeb decided.
You are a Muslim for 60 seconds.
No. Why should I follow Aurangzeb's dictate of 1668? Sadhvi.
You are a Muslim for 60 seconds.
First, he
no,
is...
1968, Arnab.
You just don't
no.
1968.
No, he's smiling, he's gleeful.
Just don't want the Muslims
himself know that
just speak out here for 60 seconds.
If you want to refer...
I have been hearing the mythological stories.
No. For 60 seconds you cannot give...
Gentleman was giving mythological stories.
For 60 seconds you cannot go incorrect things.
And you are not able.
First of all...
Go ahead with your mythological
talking about, there is no such trust. The agreement that even been recently formed, that was about a Seva Sangh and not the trust. And Seva Sangh has no moral authority over the property. One thing.
You are giving
No,
false
you are
information.
wrong.
You are
No,
wrong.
completely. You should have
You are
referred to
wrong.
the document
You are
that the
giving
court
false
has
information.
issued. You should have
There is
gone
an
through the
agreement.
paper of the case.
Go on my
You have
Twitter
to
handle, there
simply,
is an agreement.
I don't know where you are getting your facts from. You have no, you're not updated even with the events, incidents, chronology or facts. And what you're talking about, and if you're referring to Aurangzeb, I'm telling you, you're wasting your time, and that's gonna not happen. And especially when the Hindu revival is there, and we are conscious and what we're gonna let that happen and what we are not gonna happen.
For irrevocable arguments, then it's your choice. It's an ugly choice.
Even the debate with
okay, we get Dushyant now.
Between the parties have been entered long back in 1968. Why were you
okay, we'll get Dushyant please into the debate.
Since 1968, you never raised this point. Since 1991, why were you in deep slumber? Why the Act of 1991 not challenged by you? Why are you not clubbing all matters which to you are the Janam
Don't shout here, go to court. This has been already debated and has been rejected by the court. This argument has already been rejected. Refer to the documents. Don't come in prepared.
We can't club all matters because, and I want Dushyant on, please may I for a minute. We can't club all matters because each matter has different historical records on the basis of which the courts will judge. I'm not talking about mythological stories. We are talking, and Dushyant can tell you about whether there is a historical proof behind what you are describing in stories, which is my faith.
Talk of law, Mr.
And Dushyant is responding.
Talk of law, not faith. Law counts. Faith does not count.
While I listen,
law is supreme.
Arnab,
Law is supreme, sir.
Arnab, while I believe that every panelist has to be given. Can you please, sir? Sir, I think you'll have to fade him down, Arnab. Otherwise, people can't hear me.
Dushyant, Lord.
Arnab, while every panelist has their panelist has the right to express their views. While every panelist has the right to express their views, I honestly feel I take offense at the fact that there is one person who's calling the birth and the description of Krishna as mythological stories. On what basis does he claim that? And who is he to comment upon that? Which part of the speaking that me and my co-panelists did sound to him like a mythological story? Were there any comments made about Islam or about Christianity here?
What is it?
He has no academic acumen to comment upon mythological stories.
What are you speaking? Isn't it mythology?
You do not have the academic acumen to count about mythological stories. First, get your religion rectified, which is causing so much of disharmony around the world. You should not be commenting about mythological stories. This is not mythology. This is Shastra for us. We believe in Krishna and Rama. You do not believe. That's your problem. We believe.
You don't know
not one part of Islam do I call as mythology. So you should not be using such terms.
That's your Hindu mythological.
Like the fart of an elephant that's consumed 100 kgs of garlic. Go get your English corrected.
That's your Hindu mythology. Part of an elephant that's consumed 100 kgs of garlic. Go get your English corrected. Now, can I complete?
Or not, nobody can call the beliefs of Hinduism as mythological stories. I take offense to it.
Out there now. No.
Nobody can call the beliefs of Hinduism.
Stand by Dushyant here. Dushyant did say that we did not speak a word about their faith or for any matter otherwise.
I would ask
what right does he have to say?
No, I stand by what Dushyant says completely. Would Zubair say that about any other religion?
No, and if somebody says about their religion,
would Zubair accept it if that was said about any other religion? We must not use that kind of language, Zubair. You must regret it. You must apologize for it.
And then you
no. And the second point is
Arnab, let me know the best word. Have I given any bad word or Zubair? Taunted anything?
1 minute. Now reduce the speed. Zubair, this is the problem. While I show respect to your faith, while you expect and we show respect to your faith, you show no respect to ours. That is your problem.
And that's the problem.
What you've said is very insulting to Hindus. Very upsetting to Hindus.
Want all rhetorics to go on the debate.
I believe. You have no right to say it?
They've just learned
You go fight this matter in the court, we'll see. No, no, these are not rhetorics. Your words were unfortunate. You don't know enough facts to talk about it. Will you say tomorrow? Will you say tomorrow that what Aurangzeb did was also mythological?
1947.
Yeah, at the constitutional era, the courts decided. The courts decided on the Ram Mandir issue. The courts will decide on this too. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got an update. I can't go live right now, running short of time.